Okay, we're going to call the 25th meeting of the year, Village Board of Trustees, Village of Depew, March 10th, 2025 at 7 o'clock. Pledged by Trustee Kraft.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, standing for the invocation. As we gather here tonight in service to our community, let us take a moment to reflect on the responsibility entrusted to us. Within each of us resides a wellspring of untapped potential, a strength that knows no bounds. May we recognize our capacity to create meaningful change, both within our village and in the lives of those we serve. Let empowerment be our guiding force, inspiring us to lead with wisdom, integrity, and compassion. May our decisions foster unity, progress, and a brighter future for all. With unswerving resolve, let us work together to build a community where every voice is heard, every effort is valued, and every action is taken with the greater good in mind. Amen. Notification of fire exits.
The emergency exits are located to my left and the rear of the room. In the event of an alarm or emergency, please move in an orderly fashion and evacuate the building.
Roll call.
Trustee Morowski.
Here.
Trustee Simba.
Here.
Trustee Kraft.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Adolph.
Here.
And Mayor Peterson.
Here. Approval of the village board meeting minutes from the February 10th, 2025 meeting. Oh, wait a minute, 20, this should be 24th.
No.
10th?
Yep.
Okay. Can a motion, please?
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion to approve the village board meeting minutes for February 10, 2025.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carried. Okay, tonight we'll take comments and questions on any of the agenda items. The first item on the agenda is a public hearing for property between historic Dawson Field, the baseball diamond, and the West Dawson playground. So if you're here for any questions on that, hold it until the public hearing, and then we'll address it during that time period. Second item up is to accept the resignation of our associate village judge. The third item tonight, accept the resignation of a senior center employee. Our Andrew's been with us for a long time.
Yeah, a very long time. And he's very appreciative of his time here, and it's just time for him to move on.
Yeah. Next item is authorize equitable business opportunity administrator, which our administrator Regina is going to be taking. You want to explain that, Ed?
It's just something, permission for one of the culvert projects.
Okay.
We have to officially do a resolution for it.
Authorize the administrator to advertise for the annual reorganization meeting, which is the first Monday in April 7th. It's probably about 20 or 35 minutes, about 35 different things that we go through and authorize for the new year. Next item is to authorize the village administrator to advertise for a public hearing for the tentative budget for 2025 and 2026. That budget will be out and available 20th.
Yep.
We have the public hearing a couple days later. And then the village board members get to work on trimming it down, whatever they need to do, so. Tying into that is the authorization for the administrator to advertise for a public hearing for the tax cap override. Tax cap is set again at 2%. If we did not do this meeting, whether we go above 2% or not, if we did go over 2%, then we would be held to some penalties for doing so. So we always do this as a precautionary method. Just as an example, just for very simplistic terms, if we just took the budget for 2024, 2025, and we changed only a few lines because they have to change due to the projected costs. Our health insurance for our employees is going to go up 19%. The CBA contracts, this would be the fourth year of the four-year term. They're increasing 2.5 to 3%. Our garbage is going to go up 3.5%. And retirement, is that what you said?
And retirement, yeah.
And that's also going up. So if you just change those numbers and everybody else's budget stayed exactly the same as what we're just finishing up, very simplistic, and obviously there's places that we could cut. We have some places where we save money this year. So there's a lot of other factors in there. You'd be looking at, instead of a 0% tax increase on the Cheektowaga side, you'd be looking at 8.32%. And on the Lancaster side, last year it was 8% tax there. It'd be an additional 4.71% on top of that. These numbers are really driven by what the equalization rate is in each of the two towns that do the assessing of our properties. In 2023, the equalization rate in Cheektowaga was 0.91%. 100% would be full valuation. In Cheektowaga, or Lancaster last year, was 0.75. This year, the equalization rate in Cheektowaga has dropped to 8.0%, 8.8%. And in Lancaster, 0.72%. So both of those changed downward, which raises in the figuring of taxes. So the passing of the tax cap override is something we do, something that it's not like we want to raise taxes. Everybody that's on this board here all lives in the village of Cheektowaga, so, or village of Depew, town of Cheektowaga, town of Lane. Excuse me. Last thing was permission to sign an amended Phase 9 contract. It's a DEC consent order. Approved building department fees. There's adjustments in the fees that our building department came up with. And there's a sheet that's attached with it. Fees. And there's a resolution. We went and approved support of the HALT Act resolution a 10 days ago approximately, after the last meeting, so this is sort of done retroactively. I know Trustee Zimbo will be handling that one. So aside from the public hearing for the soccer field and the parking lot, is there anybody that has any comments or questions on any of the other items on the agenda tonight? With the understanding that later in the program, we'll take any general comment or question you might have. Anyone on the agenda items? No? Okay. And we'll move ahead and go to the public hearing.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I'd like to make a motion that we open the public hearing at 7:09 p.m. tonight.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Just open the public hearing at 7:10. So on the board out here, we have a rendering from our engineering team The property that is on Columbia and Olmsted at one time was Village of Depew property. The school system in Depew took it over. They then leased it, or leased to own to the folks at Lancaster's baseball boosters. And that included the property that is the baseball diamond, plus the vacant field that's there now. It was proposed that the vacant property might have become a miracle field at some point in time to tie in with the baseball program on the diamonds. Apparently, they would rather not be paying the fees to Depew schools, and the interim superintendent offered it to the Village of Depew for $1. It's approximately 3.47 acres, I believe. So we're proposing putting in a soccer field, which is sort of low cost, and the rec department would maintain it. And so we're opening up here today. I know we sent letters, did we not?
Yes, to people 500 feet away.
Okay, so if anybody has any comments or questions regarding the public hearing for the proposed soccer field and parking lot in that area, step to the microphone.
I think
And- What?
I think the administrator has to read the
Yeah, I have to
resolution.
Oh, you haven't done that yet?
Be it resolved, the village administrator is hereby authorized to advertise for a public hearing to discuss a proposed soccer field with parking at the field at West Dawson, 19 Columbia Avenue, Depew, New York, 14043. The public hearing will be held on March 10th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers, Village Hall, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York.
No. So it's a minute later, 7:12. Microphone, name and address, please.
Peter Sturchak, 17 Columbia Avenue. So my wife and I just, obviously, we got our letter in the mail, and we just wanted to ask a bunch of questions about this, the new soccer field. Some were answered by the chart, some were answered by you guys just now. Our first question was just, why this lot? What was the sort of, what was the appeal of doing it here in this particular area? And just, what was kind of the impetus, what was driving it? So I think we answered that was just that we got a great deal on it, right? Okay, so we're just trying
We'd
to.
rather see it be green space than something else.
Right, okay. So the only other question, well, we had a couple questions, but in regards to the letter, we just got the letter on Friday. So thankfully we were able to make it today, but we would have appreciated just a little bit more notice in the future, if there's anything like that, because like I said, we were able to make it tonight, but we really wanted to know more about it, so we're glad we were able to make it. Thirdly, do we know roughly what kind of, I guess you could say what age group are going to be using it as far as like what kind of soccer teams?
13 and under.
13 and under? Okay, cool. So then the other question, one of the other questions we had was just, you guys did a great job adding in that porta-john for the park the other year. That's been a huge boon. We were just wondering, are there going to be plans to add some extra porta-johns for the soccer field for the sake of people using that?
Could be.
Okay.
So keep in mind that the parking lot part may not happen originally, it depends on whether we can budget that money in.
Okay. So soccer field, this, I guess, when was the tentative timeline for this? Is it on here?
Well, I know that interim superintendent Raby at Depew is, he's ready whenever we get done with this meeting to draft the paperwork in order to move the property.
Okay. So the parking lot may not occur this year, just
Yeah,
mostly the field?
we can, as an example, the parking lot at the pavilion, which I think it's smaller than this one, because this is maybe, 40, 45, 50 cars or something like
I
that?
believe it's between, 40
So-
to 50.
Ballpark, it's got to be like about $80,000 or $90,000, right?
I would think we put more of that with curbing and all that in.
Yeah. So one of the original drawing from our engineering team used the right-of-way down Columbia for parking. Now, I personally didn't want to see that because it's taking away that green space there.
Right.
And it keeps all the cars in there. We would like to, again, we talked in a pre-board about no parking signs in some other part of the village. We would probably put no parking there and encourage the people that use the baseball diamond to use the parking lot instead of being parked all up and down Columbia, as an example. I know they have a relationship with the building across the street there, and I know that they have, I think they spent money in the fall and redid their parking lot there as well.
Yes, yeah.
So we'd have to find the money in order to, to put in, and even if our DPW were to do it, it's probably $100,000 or something like that.
Roger.
But I know that there's going to be a change in the Depew schools. They're interviewing new superintendent candidates, and I don't know whether or not that would carry over to the next guy. So if I can get it with Dr. Raby for $1, then I think as a village, we should take back the green space, and we'll have the control over it. So.
Okay. So I'm glad you mentioned up the parking, because that was one of the things we were going to request was if we could extend the no parking here to corner kind of like a little further up.
Oh, yeah. We would take it all the way from the playground
Yes,
all the way up to the corner
that would be great.
of Lincoln.
Yeah.
It's Lincoln.
Oh, and so it would basically be that whole side of the street then?
Yeah, one side, wouldn't be two sides,
Right.
it'd be one side.
Okay, because that was we've had people in the past, especially for the ball games, that'll go right all the way down the whole side of the street.
Yep.
And sometimes they'll like to park nose first into the green space
Right.
and get under the trees for shade, and it's
Right.
like, hey guys.
And we know the 4 spaces that our DPW did in front of West Dawson at times isn't enough either, so.
Right.
There'd be a there's already an opening there, but we would be a walkway into the park from there too.
Okay. Okay, so we're looking at possible construction this year starting, but then maybe the parking lot year after.
I think our rec director has a lead, or, the group all set to go, so if we could line it and get two soccer nets, they might get started this summer, so.
Okay. I think is that it? Okay. I think that's everything then. Yeah, like I said, we just had some questions about this, wanted to know a little bit more about what it was going to look like and everything, so thank you very much.
Yeah, I think that, because they're probably going to do something with it, the school system.
Okay.
And it could have opened it up to a number of different things. There was one guy that approached me about building something there. And even though it was baseball related, it might have fit in with the historic Dawson Field in some ways. I didn't think actually constructing a building there would be something that would be good to do.
Okay.
We've tried to focus on our park system. That's been pretty much my focus, administration's focus since 2019. I know we've gotten some call-outs that we're spending money in Fireman's Park. We spent money next to your place there. We have the ability to maybe look at this little playground park over here with community development block grant money next year. But we got some people that are saying Yvonne and Inez, which is down off of Patrick, could need some help, and it sure does. It's at the top of our list, but there is no community development money for that park, that area.
Gotcha.
So it would have to come out of the village budget, and it's estimated between $150,000 and $200,000 to basically remove the asphalt, start fresh if you're gonna put the basketballs back up there, but put grass back in there. There's no real place to have grass.
Right.
So that park is probably one of our ones, if we can find some money someplace, maybe a grant, or if we are, to budget it over a couple of years out of village money.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Long-winded, sorry. Does anybody else have anything you want to add with it? No? Okay. Yeah, Paul. I see Paul Sprata. We had to send out a search party for you last week, Paul. Glad to see you're still here.
Well, you were successful. I'm here.
Good.
Paul Sprata, 58 Arcus Drive. Question on this proposed soccer field. Is the field itself going to be real grass or artificial turf?
Real grass.
Pardon?
Real
Real
grass.
grass.
Okay, I'm just looking at it for maintenance and
Yeah, it's-
water runoff, if there
Oh, yeah.
would be any.
We don't have the money to put in an artificial turf, and
Okay.
we've got a brand-new 61-inch electric zero-turn mower at the rec department that they're dying to test out this year.
Okay, just
Bless.
curious about that. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else tonight in the public hearing? All right. Motion to close the public hearing?
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make a motion that we close tonight's hearing at 7:21 PM.
Need a second?
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Next resolution is accept the resignation of our Associate Village Justice.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I'd like to make the motion to move for its adoption. Be it resolved, the resignation of Paul T. Bumbalo, Associate Village Justice, effective April 3rd, 2025, is accepted.
I second the motion.
Sorry, I need a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Morowski.
Yes.
Trustee Zimba.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph.
Yes.
And Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That's carried.
Resolution number 3, accept the resignation of our Senior Center employee.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make a following motion and move for its adoption. Be it resolved, the resignation of Andrew Canzaroni, the Senior Center employee, effective April 18th, 2025, is accepted.
I second the motion.
Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Morowski.
Yes.
Trustee Zimba.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That's carried.
Next resolution, authorize the Equitable Business Opportunities, EBO Administrator.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Be it resolved that the Village of Depew hereby names Village Administrator Regina Granskowski as the Equitable Business Opportunities, EBO Administrator for the Village of Depew, project number 576391.
I second the motion.
Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Morowski.
Yes.
Trustee Zimba.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That's carried.
Resolution number 5, authorize the administrator to advertise for the annual reorganization meeting.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following resolution and move for its adoption. The administrator is authorized to advertise for the reorganization meeting to take place on Monday, April 7th, 2025 at 7 PM in the council chambers of Village Hall, 85 Manitow Street, Depew, New York, 14043.
I second the motion.
Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Morowski.
Yes.
Trustee Zimba.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That's carried.
Next resolution, Resolution 6, authorize the village administrator to advertise for the public hearing for a tentative budget 2025-2026.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Be it resolved, the village administrator is hereby authorized to advertise for a public hearing for the tentative 2025-2026 budget to take place on Monday, March 24th, 2025, in the council chambers, Village Hall, 85 Manitow Street, Depew, New York, 14043.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Resolution number 7, authorize the village administrator to advertise for a public hearing for the tax cap override, local law 2 of 2025.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I'd like to make a motion and move for its adoption. Be resolved, the village administrator is authorized to advertise for a public hearing. The public hearing will be held on Monday, March 24th, 2025 at 7 PM in the council chambers, Village Hall, 85 Manitow Street, Depew, New York 14043. The purpose of this hearing is to consider Local Law 2 of 2025, authorizing a property tax levy in excess of the limit established in General Municipal Law, Section 3-C. If adopted, the proposed local law shall read as follows. Section 1, legislative intent. It is the intent of this local law to allow the Village of Depew to adopt the budget for the fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2025 that requires a real property tax levy in excess of the tax levy limit as defined by General Municipal Law, Section 3-C. Section 2, authority. This local law is adopted pursuant to Subdivision 5 of General Municipal Law, Section 3-C, which expressly authorizes a local government's governing body to override the property tax cap for the incoming fiscal year by the adoption of a local law approved by a vote of 60% of said governing body. Section 3, tax levy limit override. The Board of Trustees of the Village of Depew, County of Erie, is hereby authorized to adopt a budget for the fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2025, that requires a real property tax levy in the excess of the amount otherwise prescribed in General Municipal Law, Section 3-C. Section 4, servability. If a court determines that any cause, sentence, paragraph, subdivision, or part of this local law or the application thereof to any person, firm, or corporation or circumstance is invalid or unconstitutional, the court's order or judgment shall not affect, impair, or invalidate the remainder of this local law, but shall be confined in its operation to the clause, sentence, paragraph, subdivision, or part of this local law, or in its application to the person, individual, form, or corporation or circumstance directly involved in the controversy in which such judgment or order shall be rendered. Section 5, effective date. This local law shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State.
I second that motion.
Any roll call vote, please?
Trustee Morowski.
Yes.
Trustee Zimba.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson. That's carried.
Resolution 8, permission to sign the amended Phase 9 contract.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Be it resolved, the Village of Depew Mayor Kevin J. Peterson is authorized to sign the amended Phase 9 contract between Municipal Solutions Incorporated and the Village of Depew.
I'll second that motion.
A roll call vote, please?
Trustee Morowski.
Yes.
Trustee Zimba.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson. That's carried.
Resolution 9, approve the building department fees.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following motion and move for its adoption. Whereas the building department has proposed new fee rates for the services that are provided by their department, be it resolved that the new department fee rates for the building department are hereby approved per the attached list.
I second the motion.
And a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Morowski.
Yes.
Trustee Zimba.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
That's carried.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the code at this time for looking and reviewing the fees and getting them up to snuff with the surrounding area, so thank you very much. We appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
Wasn't that we were going above
No.
surrounding area?
No,
We
I don't
were
think we're higher in any
drastically,
category than anyone, but we're at least up to par to
right,
municipalities our size. Trying to stay with the times.
And like I said, I tried to keep anything that would be a residential permit, you know, people who are doing everyday stuff around their house, still very achievable.
Right.
It was commercial that saw more of a head.
Resolution 10, approve the HALT Act resolution. Trustee Zimba?
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make the following resolution and move for its adoption. Whereas on Thursday, February 27th, 2025, Village of Depew Board of Trustees approved a resolution calling on New York State Legislature to repeal the New York State HALT Act. Be it resolved, this resolution put forth on Thursday, February 27th, 2025, by the Village of Depew Board of Trustees is hereby approved. going to read the
Yes.
resolution. Village of Depew Halt Act Resolution. Whereas the Village of Depew's Village Board is requesting a home rule resolution calling on the New York State Legislature to repeal the New York State Halt Act. Whereas, while the New York State Halt Act may have been written with good intentions, its application has created a hazardous and lawful environment, which jeopardizes both staff and incarcerated individuals alike. And whereas, correctional officers work in facilities to maintain good working order to keep incarcerated individuals, staff, and the community safe by communicating well, remaining disciplined, all while handling extremely dangerous situations inside the facility. And whereas, working in correctional facilities takes a physical and mental toll on correctional officers and their families, especially while being mandated to work shifts 24 hours or more at one at a time. And whereas, with the implementation of the New York State Halt Act, corrections officers are not permitted to utilize SHU, segregated housing units, for long-term disciplinary and have no recourse for violence toward other incarcerated individuals or staff, causing the rate of violent assaults to nearly double. Therefore, be it resolved, the Village of Depew's Village Board is demanding the full repeal of the New York State Halt Act until it can be researched and revised with input from correctional staff. Be it further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution be forwarded to Honorable Governor Kathy Hochul, Honorable Speaker of the Assembly Carl E. Hasty, and Honorable Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousins. Also, Honorable Republican Senate Minority Leader Robert G. Ort, Honorable Majority Leader of the Assembly Crystal D. People-Stokes, Honorable Minority Leader of the Assembly William A. Barclay, and the Western New York delegation, the Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz, and the Erie County Legislature.
Second that.
Need a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Morowski.
Yes.
Trustee Zinba.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Adolph.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
And that's carried.
Is there any personal comments any of the board members?
A minute privilege, please. I've had the opportunity to visit a number of correctional facilities throughout New York State the past 2 weeks. I've got to speak at a couple of those picket lines. I've listened to the families. I've listened to the correctional officers, and they need help. You know. I just want to thank the board for supporting this resolution. Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay. I missed this one when I did the assignment, so I need somebody to step up to, for the department head reports for police 2025.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I'd like to make a motion to pass the department head reports police February 2025.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. There's no unfinished or other business. Before we get to general public concerns and comments, we'll go around the room. We'll start to my right, our building department, Don and Kate.
So, not a lot of new business to report this meeting. Just a couple of new business inquiries, which would be Diamond Deconstruction on Broadway here, and Envy Inc., which would be on the south side across from Dairy Queen on Broadway also. Weather's changing, weather's starting to get nice, so get a chance, now that the snow's melted, to get out in your yards, start picking up some of the trash and stuff that's blown around from, winter, and that's pretty much it on my end.
I would just like to add, if you have one of those dumpster bags that you've purchased from Lowe's or Home Depot or anywhere like that, don't forget to call to have it picked up. That is not a free service that is provided by our local garbage collection. And since the snow has melted, they seem to be appearing from underneath the snowbanks.
A Street.
Yes, and they are extremely unsightly and need to go.
And also, we should mention, we've seen mattresses and some other things that apparently went down before the snow and got buried, so they have to be disposed of properly. The garbage company will not pick them up when they're uncovered and soaking wet, so you're gonna have to figure out another way to get rid of them.
They need to be wrapped in plastic, yes.
Across the way here to our DPW, Ken.
We've met with our engineering firm, and our MS4 will be available. If anybody is interested, it will be available at the March 24th meeting. It will also be posted on our website, which is our stormwater report for the year. We're gearing up for our spring jobs, taking out hydro markers, stakes, stuff like that. Street sweeper has been out, first time today, and that's about it.
Okay, down to my right, Chief McNamara.
For the month of February, your police department responded to a total of 1,389 complaints. 96 of those were criminal complaints. We had 3 stolen vehicles. All of them were recovered locally. 32 accidents this past month. They were all property damage, no injury accidents. Arrested 44 adults and 1 juvenile. Issued 136 parking tickets and 208 traffic summonses.
And do you want to make the announcement for parking today?
Sure. As of today, the 10th of February, the 10th of March, we are going to lift the parking ban, the winter parking ban.
A couple of days early. Administrator Kronikowski.
Nothing.
Okay, on the other side, we have Chief Brian Musilak, and don't forget Brian Spitz.
That's right.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Since our last meeting, we've had 17 calls, and that gives us 70 calls year-to-date. Part of Brian's bits, which I was going to mention that
Ooh,
here tonight.
is it? So,
Just with the, at least twice a year, you should be checking your carbon monoxide detectors and your smoke detectors in your residence. Good times of the year are when we either go forward or go backwards with the clocks. So that was just this past Saturday. If you didn't have it already, go ahead, check your carbon monoxide detectors and your smoke detectors, make sure they're working properly, they're not outdated, if they're hardwired, and that if they have battery backups in them, or they are operated just solely on batteries, that the batteries are up to date and they're working properly. The other thing is there's a burn ban in New York State that goes into effect on March 16th, and it's in place till May 14th. That's if it doesn't need to be extended. So no open burning. Obviously, it's due to this time of year. You would think everything would be saturated or wet or everything, but actually everything is very dry. So it's to prevent any kind of...
like the fires on Long Island.
Yep, exactly. It's to prevent any large, wildland fires. We do have wooded and areas and open grass areas in our village, but even just around your surrounding neighborhoods, stuff like that. And when you finally do start to have some open burns, just make sure that you're following the proper protocol and it's at least 15 feet away from any structure, and that you have some source of water to extinguish that if it needs to be. That's all I have, sir.
All right. Any of the trustees? Trustee Zimmer?
Composting, any residents interested, the county sponsoring the composting program again this year. You have to go to the website, order your composter as soon as possible. www.erie.compostersale.com. I'll spell composter sale, COMPOSTERSALE. They're encouraging everyone to get the orders in early so we can get them before the tariffs hit, because the composters do come from Canada. They want to get them in here across the border before April 2nd. So first come, first serve, get your order in early.
We'll be posting that on our Facebook and website. On the side, Trustee Kraft?
I'm working on something, hopefully, new fun challenge over the next couple months with the local food establishments that we have in the village of Depew. Stay tuned in the next couple weeks for details for that.
Okay. My other side here, Trustee Morosky
Nothing. Thank you.
and Deputy Mayor Adolph.
We received our approval for from the Arbor Day Foundation for Tree City USA. We're officially half a decade in, so 5 years as a Tree City USA, So we're very excited about that. Again, thank you to Ken and the DPW for all their work with the trees, as well as Deb for helping to get the static information for all our tree plantings and the work they do so that we could submit the application timely on that. It's always appreciated. So looking forward to our Arbor Day celebration at the end of April for our 5th year as a Tree City USA.
Okay, great. Our attorney tonight is in Amherst and unavailable. I don't believe we had anything special from that. So we try and give this opportunity where everybody can get a report from our departments, building, DPW, fire, police, and what the trustees are doing, so that you can ask any questions of them as well. So this is general questions and comments. Anything that's on your mind, step to the podium, name and address, and we'll do our best to answer the question for you. Anybody? Oh, I see somebody right there. Paul Sprana.
Okay, Paul Sprata again, 58 Argus. Got a few questions since I haven't been here in a couple months. One thing is, it's my understanding that the Catholic Diocese is going to be closing 2 churches in Depew, mainly St. Martha's, the old OLBS, and St. James. They also have schools attached to the properties. Are they going to be closing also, do you know?
I know from St. Martha's, and Darren, you could say they have at least another year, I believe.
There's been a reprieve while the case is heard till at least May of next year. The church will remain open through May of 2026.
Is that
the
both
church too?
churches, I meant?
The church is staying open through May of 2026. They opened up the book for masses, so you can go and reserve your mass.
Okay.
I got that straight from Father Bart at one of those masses. Okay, so there is a challenge, and while it's being heard, they can't close it. So we've got some time on that.
All right, good. Second thing I've got is, everybody knows the price of eggs has gone through the roof. And we passed a resolution, I think, last year for residents to own chickens. Are there any stipulations associated with that? I mean, do these chickens have to have a vaccine or a vet or?
There's a whole host of things that we built into that. Too bad, Sam's. They have to get the neighbors around them in order to be notified and sign off on it.
Okay.
There's limits on them. There's the fee. It's every couple of years, I think.
I
they
think
got
it's every 2 years.
It's every
They have
2
to-
years, they have to file a special use permit for the
Right.
non-domesticated animals. There are stipulations they have to go by. There's a standard of cleanliness that needs to be abided by. If you have chickens for eggs, you can use the eggs yourself. You're not allowed to
Retail and
yeah.
sell them. Okay, thank you.
That's actually chickens and any undomesticated animal, right?
Correct.
Right.
Same would
Yeah.
go for bees with honey.
Yeah, bees, that was one.
Everything else.
Yeah, bees.
Ostriches.
We might have bees coming. There is someone who's interested in raising bees.
Does he live behind me?
No.
No, because he did have bees, that's, okay.
All right, third thing I've got is, when Audrey was on board, she got donated snow shovels to clean off the fire hydrants in the wintertime. And so far, this past winter, I hope we're done with winter, I haven't seen the fire hydrants cleared of snow in my neck of the woods anyway. Did anybody contact Depew High School? I think that's who was doing it before.
Yeah, well,
can answer.
not for me, but,
Yeah, Assistant Chief Huey does that portion of that. He was working with Audrey with that program. With her being sick and everything leading up to her unfortunate passing, that program kind of went to the wayside, and it was too late for us to react to that this year. The fire department will be working with them for next, organizing that for next winter. Just this year it didn't happen mainly because Audrey was sick leading up to that and then her unfortunate passing.
That's with Depew High School?
It's with Depew High School. Yeah,
Just
she had
Depew.
spearheaded that. She put us in contact with the people we need to be in contact with.
Okay.
And also, now, there was a gentleman that was in our fire department that ran that first responder program in there. He's a senior this year, he's graduating, and he's no longer gonna be there, so it'll be a little bit of a transition there.
Okay, what I wanted to know also is what happened to the shovels? They were donated by that hardware store next to the Thompson D&L Plaza.
That I can't answer to, because that was something that they were donated, and they were given to the school.
Okay,
And it had that had nothing to do with the fire department, so that I don't know.
okay, if somebody could check on that, because if we go to them for a donation again, this will leave a bitter taste in their mouth, I think.
Sure,
They
sure.
just disappeared.
We'll do the best we can to try to get to the bottom of that. I
Okay.
can't make any guarantees, though.
All right, thank you. Another thing too, I noticed on the way over here that we used to have our police department on Terrace Boulevard next to the old high school, that red brick building. And I think it was something associated with the healthcare, doctor's offices or training or something.
It's Lake Shore Primary
Yeah.
Doctors, yeah.
Now that's empty, is that right?
No.
No, it isn't?
No.
I don't see any activity around there.
Yeah.
Is there?
Dr. Robillard and Dr.
Dr. Elmer Whitmer,
Whitmer, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, isn't there a for sale sign on it?
They're leasing for the bottom portion, but the doctor's office is still there.
Okay, all right, just wanted to make sure.
I think DePiro, the brother, is still in the basement there. But they did redo the basement completely,
Yeah,
so that's for lease. It may even be, I think there's one office upstairs or something.
There's an apartment,
Yeah. Yep, no, she's still there.
yeah.
one thing also, maybe Brian can answer this. This past summer, there's been new concrete in front of all three of the fire stations. Did we get any grant money for doing that, or what did it
No.
cost?
No, that was.
$169,000 for all three.
169? Okay, but there were no grants
No.
available for that, all right. And there were roofs on two fire stations. Any grants for that, or?
No.
No?
It's not a grant tree. That's what a lot of people misconception is that, oh, there's this grant and that grant.
Yeah,
And that's just not true.
I know there's a lot of
There's
weird
things,
grants out there.
there's things that this village has kicked the can down the road in for many years.
Yeah,
The fire department pads, as they're known, were cracked with large holes in them. Kenny's group put some asphalt in them in order
Yeah.
to eliminate some of the possibility of somebody tripping and falling, either a firefighter or somebody that maybe is attending an activity there. We didn't want the lawsuits. We also did some trimming, Brian, of that metal strip that was in there, which eliminated possible falls. The roofs, two of the roofs were leaking badly. Your guys were out there numerous times patching the rubber that's up on the top and the holes. It's time to invest in our infrastructure.
infrastructure, okay,
You know, we have to do it.
yeah.
Just a little to add to that, Paul. Yeah, I mean, the last time those concrete pads were replaced was over 20 years ago, and they were, like I said, they were cracked and they were damaged, like the mayor had stated. And then the roofs. I've been a member in the fire department for 33 years, and those roofs were never replaced in my time up until this year. So we got our money's worth out of them. And like I said, they were both leaking, and there was to the point where the gentleman in the DPW that were fixing them said, "There's really nothing more we can do."
Yeah,
You know, so it was very much needed, and you know, the buildings were built south side on Meridian Street, and the north side station on Brewster were built in 1963, and the west end on George Irvin was built in 1968, and not a whole lot has been put into any one of those three buildings over the years, to be honest with you.
all right.
So
The concrete that was put in, is it steel reinforced, you know?
Yes, it was, we had, village engineers came out, and that whole project was, they wrote the spec, according to obviously what the weight ratio of our apparatus is for those pads to take that. So yeah, they were all, reinforced with steel rebar, and, they were also rated for a certain amount of weight, and they were pressure tested, before we were even allowed to drive on them.
Okay, thank you. Still on the fire department, that new equipment truck, do we take delivery of it yet?
We have not. We went out and did a final paint inspection last week, Monday, the committee. We're still 6 to 8 weeks out on that. They had to take it back, and they have to put all the finishing touches on it, the roll-up doors, the slide-out trays, the shelving. They got to run all the electrical for the emergency lights and the radios and install that. So there's quite a few finishing touches that need to go onto the truck before we take delivery of it. And we're looking any place from about 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
It's not uncommon right now. I'll be honest with you, right now, any manufacturer you go to right now, if you were to order a new truck, it's 4 years. That's how far out they are.
Okay.
Where pre-COVID, year and a half, you have the apparatus, no matter what apparatus it was. That's what all the manufacturers are at right now, is 4 years. So,
Where's that truck going to be kept?
at our Southside Fire Station on Radiant Street, that's taking the place of our
Pumper?
old engine two. Correct.
Okay. And why don't we need a pumper anymore?
Well, we had five engines in this department, one ladder truck and one heavy rescue. We used to have 240 members in this fire department, which is what we're chartered for, our most members that we can have on our roster, on our charter. We're now at about 108. We fluctuate between 100 and 110, and for the last 10 or 12 years, and we just, we have insurance ratings that we have to meet, where they dictate to us how much area we have to, based on how much area we cover, what our population is, what the commercial versus residential ratio is, and insurance companies dictate to us what we need to have a minimum for apparatus and fire protection. And we don't need 5 engines anymore in our department, and it doesn't affect our insurance rating at all by shedding 1 engine. We need to be more fiscally responsible. We're trying to be more fiscally responsible in the village, and you got to remember, so this utility truck is a quarter of the cost of replacing an engine.
Yeah.
And it's going to be also the kind of types of calls that we've used to go to what we go to now has changed as well. And this truck is going to meet those needs very well.
Okay. And the cost of that equipment truck is $700,000, is that right?
Negative. A little shy of 300.
300, okay. And I brought this from a couple weeks ago, where it was mentioned here, replacing the Yetna Hose Company 1987 pumper, and that $300,000 expense will be paid for entirely through investment interest from an account we set up in 2022. So that's like 3 years, and $300,000 was.
By the time we take that truck, we pretty much paid it off.
Yeah, but that's a nice interest rate or whatever on the investment.
It sure
Thank you very much, Paul.
I'd like to talk to you about who.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Special company.
Big Lou.
The money that we did there, we put $2 million that's in our sewer reserve fund
Okay,
into an account that was earning, at one point, 5.25%. So it was generating $20-some thousand a month.
yeah,
And that was the first one we opened, which was September 23rd of 2022. So, yeah.
yeah,
We had to open a bond for it,
Yeah.
but with the idea that it was the shortest term because our intentions is to pay it off completely.
Right.
And not have to pay any interest on the bond.
Interest, right, okay.
Hey, Paul, just so you know, there's a lot of fire departments in the area that are using those pieces of apparatus now as well. And like I said, you know, just our over the years, remember we're 130 years old, our fire department, our things have evolved, right? And things change and we have to adapt to those changes. And we're trying to modernize one of the largest, actually we are the largest volunteer fire department in Erie County, trying to modernize and keep up with the times, but also be fiscally responsible to the village, as most of our membership is taxpayers and residents.
Yeah.
So,
Now, that 1987 pumper that's going to be sold, I'm wondering what the value of
it
it.
already was sold.
Oh, it was?
$3,500 we received for it, and it went to a fire training center up in New York, up close to New York City.
Okay,
It's already gone.
all right. Okay.
Well, you
to the
have
next
been
one.
gone for a while.
Pardon?
You have been gone for a while.
Yeah, I have. I just want to update myself, I guess.
Can we extend the time a little bit?
I think we already have.
Okay.
Well, but I 5 minutes uninterrupted would be fine.
Okay.
The Boys and Girls Club, the Lancaster was withholding the funds. What's going to happen with ours here on Terrace? Do you have any idea? And there's the one on Broadway in Lancaster.
It's the Depew Lancaster Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see what the town government does with all that.
What the supervisor in Lancaster is going to do. Okay. I think that's about it. I got, well, one other thing maybe Ken can answer. Brunswick Boulevard was paved this past summer. Now that's half is Depew and the other half is Lancaster, right?
Before.
Pardon?
It was a year before.
Year before, okay. What I've noticed, if I'm coming from my son's house or my cousin's house, live in the village of Lancaster, going down Broadway and I turn down Brunswick to go into the D&L Plaza where the Taps is mostly. But there's 3 manhole covers between Broadway and the entrance to that parking lot, opposite Big Lots there. Those manhole covers got to be close to 6 inches lower than the road itself. And I've already seen an elderly woman pull off to the side on the sidewalk where she blew a tire. Is anything going to be done to correct that?
First I know about it, but we don't have any sewers there, so if it's a manhole,
Yeah.
it's not ours.
Okay,
But we can look into it, yeah.
I'm just curious as to who's, okay, I think that's it. I've talked enough.
All right.
Thanks. Good to have you back, Paul. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, boy.
All right. Anybody else? Any kind of comment or question? Sir, did you have anything? Okay.
No, Paul took
All
care.
right. Okay. Claims and accounts.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I make a motion that the claims and accounts have been audited by the Finance Committee and are approved for payment as follows.
In the general fund, $179,950.24. Zero community development. Sewer fund, $1,619. Capital projects, $6,500, for a total of $1,888.69, or $188,069.24.
I second that motion.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that's carried. And I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Honorable Mayor and Board of Trustees, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting at 7:59 PM.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And thank you very much, and have a great night.
Thank you.